Hello everyone, welcome to Sickness to Strength. My name is Chris Hayes. I'll be the leader of this journey moving forward and your guide in the process of what this channel and what the purpose of this channel is for. I'm a lifelong personal trainer. I've been doing this for over a decade at this point. I'm a corrective exercise specialist and I've worked in multiple different realms, including in the physical therapy environment, in the collegiate environment for a brief period of time, as well as the commercial and the private sectors as well. So, what is Sickness to Strength? Sickness to Strength to me is very representative of what a lot of us are going through at the moment, right? With this global pandemic that we currently have going on, a lot of us are forced into an uncomfortable environment and an uncomfortable situation, right? A lot of us may have fallen back and lost some of the good traction or some of the good habits that we built up prior to being put in or being thrust into the situation that we're in currently. It's a very tumultuous time and it's very hard to get a grasp of where we're at currently and try and be successful with our habits moving forward so that we can be the type of person that we want to be, but also physically be a representation of what we want to be as well as mentally also. So the goal of this channel and the goal of this program that is to follow is going to be for me to give you an accurate representation of what a healthy program and a healthy lifestyle should look like trying to come out of this, as well as for me to represent and be honest about the struggles that I'm going through, dealing with my own issues with anxiety and depression and things like that, as well as being able to, in a sense, start from a baseline with you guys and show you the steps that it takes to build and create a productive program for yourself moving forward from here. So what will you be learning is a process of following along with the videos that are to come, as well as whatever else that I put out. Hopefully, and one of the first things that you're going to learn and that we need to be honest about is where we're at currently, okay? And that we need to understand and put forward an honest evaluation of who we are, where we're at, whether it's physically, whether it's mentally, so that we can have a solid baseline and we can be honest with ourselves and productive moving forward. So on that note, sometimes we need to be honest, even if it means you probably shouldn't have given yourself a haircut in the middle of the coronavirus, all right? But much like this haircut right here, okay, the purpose and the goal of what we're going to be doing following along with this is to learn how to start from a baseline and grow just like this to hopefully become a fuller and a better, maybe even a better looking, maybe a better representation of what we want to be and what we want to look like and who we want to be at the end of this journey, okay? So how are we going to do that? The way that we're going to do this and my approach to this is going to be very different probably from a lot of other channels and things that you've seen in the past. And while there's a ton of great content, what my goal is to take you through day by day so that I can, in a sense, kind of grab you by the hand and we can walk this path together, okay? I'm going to be creating a program for myself and show you guys the results that it produces, as well as show you the way that the body can adapt from a physical standpoint and also even just from a mental standpoint, and try and give you an accurate reflection of both how I'm feeling as physically as well as how I'm feeling mentally throughout this whole thing. What I'll be covering in the videos to follow is definitely going to be multifaceted. The first thing that we're going to focus in on and the most obvious is going to be program design, the motions that we're going to be doing, giving some basic coaching and technique. There are a ton of great videos as far as showing proper technique and motion online as well. So that may not be the primary focus, but it will definitely be a focus that we have as we go along. I will attempt to show some progressions and regressions, and I may even do some videos or add some things in the end to show you things that you can substitute in for some of the larger compound movements that I will be doing. I do have access to some equipment that I know many of you probably will not have access to at this point, or at least until we're able to get back into a gym type setting. So we will make do with what we can in the meantime. I will attempt to try and give you things that you can replicate, at least to a certain degree. But this program, again, is going to be based around my needs and my necessities, as well as what my goals are. And those goals may be very different from the things that you're looking to accomplish, okay? That doesn't mean that this program won't be viable for you. It does mean that we may need to modify things as far as sets and repetitions, maybe some movements, things like that as well, okay? Now, some of the other things that I do want to touch in on as well throughout the process of this are going to be some just basic things as far as general lifestyle choices, things that we're producing in our day-to-day life. How much movement should I be getting? I'm probably going to key in on things like hydration, sleep, general mental practices that may be beneficial to keeping you in a good headspace, as well as nutrition. I do want to dial in on that as well. Again, there are tons of great nutrition videos and things that you can watch that will give you much more in-depth information than what I'm going to cover, but I do want to give you an accurate representation of, as this process goes along, what am I doing week to week and day to day, so that you can say, okay, when we look at the results and go from week to week, if I'm being successful, which I believe that I will be as a result of this, what are the things that I'm keyed in on? What are the things that I'm focused in on? Is it calories? Is it macro consumption? How worried am I? Am I doing fasting? Those are things that we're going to touch in on, and hopefully you're going to be able to learn some things as a result of that process as well, okay? So really what the goal of this is, and what I'm hoping to produce for you, is an inside look into a program from a professional standpoint, but also from a personal standpoint, so that you can step back and say, okay, if these things are true and if these things are valid, are they able to produce results? And if they are, why or why not? Why are these things successful? Are these things that I can use, or is this utter nonsense? So I'm hoping to really give you guys an inside look from my perspective, but like I said, kind of walk you hand in hand with these things so that I can show you firsthand whether they're beneficial or whether we're going to wind up failing as a result. I don't think we will, though. So, how are we going to measure our successes or our failures as a result of the program that is to follow from here? One of the first things that I'm going to do, and I'm going to do week to week, both for you guys as well as for myself, is I'm going to set a series of goals that may not be totally related purely to physical activity, okay? Might be lifestyle related, some are probably going to be nutrition related. Everything's going to be a mixture of things that I can control in my life that are going to benefit me from a mental perspective as well as a physical perspective. So we might be changing a lot of different things, okay? It might be that we're adding in meditation, maybe we're adding in fasted cardio, maybe we're changing the amount of calories that we're consuming, the intensity of the workouts, maybe we're adding in could be any number of different factors that we're looking to change, okay? And I'm gonna try and be honest with you guys, or as honest as I can be, about what those successes look like from week to week, okay? If I only hit my goals 50% of the time, 60% of the time, I'm gonna tell you that, okay? If I tried to set out to meditate for 7 days in a row and I couldn't sit down for 5 seconds, I'm gonna let you know that, okay? So, again, this program is not designed for perfection, okay? We're not looking to hit every single thing on the dial, but we're looking to create a holistic program and something that'll work for us day in, day out, so that when we get on the backside of this thing, we're an accurate representation and we're back to a place, or maybe we're getting to a place that we've never been before, so that we can represent the person that we want to be, both outward and hopefully inward as well. Now, on another note, we are going to measure our successes in a very traditional perspective as well, okay? I already did take some initial measurements as far as weight and circumference measurements. I did do some calipers as well, and while I'm not a huge fan of calipers, for the time being, I don't have access to something like a DEXA or hydrostatic weighing at the moment, but we will be looking at pictures, we will be looking at live video, so that I can show you week to week how the body's able to change and adapt if we are able to touch and hit on the right amount of exercise, the right amount of nutrition, getting some of those lifestyle habits in order so that we can wind up being successful. So what is Operation Fat Forward? okay? If you've been paying attention, I'm sure you noticed this hanging out over in the background, all right? Operation Fat Thor is going to be the name of the program that I'm creating for myself. It holds a special place for me, and I'm sure many of you are able to relate both with what's going on, as well as if you've seen the Marvel movies or if you're familiar with the character, I'm sure you'll probably understand why I've adopted the name that I did for this program, okay? So if you're familiar with the cinematic universe of Marvel and you know what the deal was with Fat Thor, I have a similar situation in my life where I lost my mother and I went through some very trying times, which led me to wind up dealing with some pretty heavy anxiety and depression. And as a result of that, sometimes I definitely reached out to alcohol as a means to cope, and food as well, okay? I'm sure many of you have done the same in the process of going through this quarantine. Maybe you've been pushed back into depression. Maybe like me, you've been forced to be in isolation most of the time by yourself, okay? As of right now, I don't have a partner or someone that I can spend a lot of time with or that I'm able to share and go back and forth with, and that's able to kind of build me up and prevent me from backsliding and going into some of those bad places that I've tried desperately to get out of in the past, okay? I'm sure many of you can relate to that. So Fat Thor is what I consider the representation of where I've been in the past when I've been dealing with depression, where it's gotten so bad you're just sitting on the couch, you're playing video games, you're drinking beer, you're watching Netflix, you're eating pizza, you're eating Chinese food, whatever that might look like to you. But to me, it's a very accurate representation from a character standpoint, but as well as from a personal standpoint. Having lost someone that was very dear to me that did help build me up and keep me in a very positive place. So, Fat Thor, this is the current version that we're looking at right now. But when we get to the end of this, we're gonna try and get back to something that is more akin to regular Thor, or maybe medium Thor. That's gonna be the goal. We're probably not gonna get there within 30 days, but we definitely wanna edge more towards that end of the spectrum. So let's find out how successful we're gonna wind up being. All right, is there anything else? Guys and girls, if you're seeing this, please understand that it's okay if you're in a bad place right now, all right? The goal of this is to be a representation, hopefully, for you guys, and also kind of, like I said, take you day to day, hopefully maybe grab you by the hand a little bit and show you that there's a way to get out of anxiety and depression, even in the middle of a pandemic, even if you're stuck on the couch, even if you've been drinking beer for the last 30, 40 days straight, okay? It's totally acceptable wherever you've been at and whatever you've been dealing with, all right? Everyone's got vastly different trials in this time, and I'm sure many of you are going through some of the roughest times of your life. I hope not, but I know for me, this definitely put me into a backslide and put me into a space that I really worked very hard to get out of, okay? So if you're feeling guilty because you've been on the couch and you've been drinking, you've been eating, and you've been doing the stuff that you shouldn't have been doing, you haven't been active, and you haven't been taking care of yourself, it's okay. I've been right there with you, all right? Right at the start of this quarantine, I definitely slid very hard, and I was coping with alcohol and food. As of right now, I'm on day 10 of being sober, and that is definitely something that I want to try and focus in on moving forward, is producing positive habits for myself, maintaining a good, healthy, and sober lifestyle, so that when we get to the other side of this thing, like I said, we can be a better person as a whole. So no matter where you're at right now, don't feel guilty. There are tons of people that are going through the exact same thing that you are and that I've been going through as well. Please value where you're at, take care of yourself, and remember, this program is not something that is an expectation of perfection, okay? I'm not gonna expect myself to be perfect through this thing as well, but I do think that no matter what, we need to be honest with where we're at, okay? Sometimes the hardest thing that we can do is just get started, taking that first step on the road, right? If anybody who's ever tried to get sober knows, right? The first 1, 2, 3, 4 days, those are the hardest days you're ever gonna have to go through, okay? So please be kind to yourself. Please go easy on yourself. This is not a race. You're not competing with me. I'm not competing with you. The only person that you need to be focused in on and taking care of is yourself and your family. If you're going to follow along with me, please modify and do the things that you should for yourself appropriately. Do not try and push too hard, okay? And hopefully as we go through this, I can show you what a healthy progression looks like. And if you do have any questions about anything when we are going through the process of this, please go ahead and hit me up, whether it's on, whether this is on Instagram or YouTube. I'm probably not going to be able to answer everybody. If there does wind up being a bunch of comments, there may be no comments, and that's totally fine as well. But main point that I'm trying to get at here is, guys, wherever you're at right now, it's okay. Please take care of yourself. This is going to be a journey. This is not a race, all right? I hope you're well. I hope you're safe. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of each other. No matter what you do, please, please, please put yourself first, but at the same time, be respectful of the situation and others around you as well. So be safe, okay? No matter what, the most important thing is you, okay? So stay up, stay strong. The war goes on.